Hello, and welcome to the Battleship Brawl Companion. I'm Evil for Zergan, and this episode I'm going to be reviewing the GNS Dreadnought by TheShadowKick. This is the first really, realistic ship-looking entry I've reviewed so far. We've got an actual superstructure with a bridge in it. See the avatar standing here, and even a funnel. Once again, I've got the engine running already. We are making 13.7 or 13.8 meters per second. Maybe a touch on the slow side, but not terribly slow compared to the average for this tournament. As with the previous Gold Rose, the propulsion and rudders are all located in a single area on the back. Got a pretty generous amount of rudders. So if I make a turn here, it's making a pretty decent turn. The speed also goes up a bit since it's probably counting the side velocity. We also do seem to be drifting pretty heavily. Now, moving to the side does reduce rudder force, which may be an argument for having paired upside-down rudders near the front of your ship. Still, for a ship of this size, the maneuverability is probably more than adequate compared to most ships. Now let's look at the hull protection. This is a pretty heavily armored ship. We've got spaced compartments of metal and a external armor belt made out of heavy armor. Now, it's generally recommended to put the heavy armor on the inside rather than the outside, and this is for a couple of reasons. First, if it's in the inside, there's less area to cover, as surface area grows as you go further out. The other, probably more important reason is the mechanics of armor stacking. If you put your heavy armor on the outside, when something hits the heavy armor, it's going to encounter 40 AC, plus a bit of bonus from the metal behind it. But if the heavy armor gets destroyed, the metal behind it is going to have relatively low AC. Whereas if you put the heavy armor on the inside and the metal on the outside, the heavy armor is going to grant a pretty hefty armor bonus to the metal on the outside. Furthermore, if you have a lot of repair bots, you can repair the relatively cheap metal on the outside, rather than having to spend a lot on the heavy armor repairs. Let's turn it to avoid that island up ahead. We've got an alloy deck. That'll give a bit of extra buoyancy if some of the air pumps get punctured. Although, even with this, the Dreadnought does not have enough inherent buoyancy to stay afloat if all of its air pumps are, if all its air-filled compartments are punctured. However, this is exceedingly unlikely because the Dreadnought has a lot of compartments. I mean, probably dozens of them. Moreover, it's got a huge number of repair bots. As we've seen in the first battle, it can regenerate itself very quickly. And we've just got rows of repair bots here and there, and almost every compartment has at least a couple repair bots. So it's going to be hard to be scoring lasting damage on this ship unless you somehow manage to run it out of resources. So, overall, it's probably one of the most durable ships we've seen so far in the tournament. Now let's move on to the guns and turrets. Unfortunately, this is where the Dreadnought falls down a bit. The turrets themselves are quite large. They're armored with metal, which, while semi-durable, is going to have a hard time stopping cram shells. Furthermore, since they're bulkier than, say, the single layer of heavy armor used on the gold rose we saw in the previous episode, they're making a large target for enemy shells. Finally, as mentioned in the gold rose video, anything that hits the side of these is going to just simply face through the hull and probably take out most of the turret proper. The guns themselves have also some flaws. The size is moderate, and the number is also pretty decent. We've got 3 here, casemates on the side of the Citadel. There's 2 secondaries on each side, and 3 pairs of primary battery. So overall we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on each side, 16 guns. That's a respectable number of guns for a ship this size. Unfortunately, the internal configuration is not that great because a lot of the pellets have only 1 or 2 connections going to them. Especially with explosive pellets, you really want to be going for at least 2, preferably 3 or 4. Moreover, the guns that have a lot of pellets don't have much ammo, which means that they fire very slowly. And the ones that have a lot of ammo don't have much pellets. Let me show you what I mean. So, these main guns, we've got 2,000 ammunition in 10 boxes. That's a pretty decent amount, but we've only got 19 explosive material boxes, and none of anything else, so... now we've been packing for a long time, but let me try firing these guns here. Okay, if we look at this real quick. So, a 15-second reload. Which is also pretty long for these guns. We've got just 5,000 or 6,000 explosive. Well, okay, 15 seconds is not terribly long, but it could be better. But the main problem is that we've only, even with this lengthy reload time, we only got 5,000 or 6,000 explosive damage by the time the guns were reloaded, which is subpar for a Cran cannon. These ones only 19 explosive compared to okay, they're the same. So the main guns, they've got a okay fire rate but are lacking explosive damage. The secondary guns are actually a bit better off, if I remember correctly. We've got 30 explosives and 15 hardening material. 4 boxes, though, is pretty short, and at only 940 millimeters, these shells are not going to be doing a huge amount of damage. At the extreme opposite end, we have these casemate guns of 1273 millimeters. Again, a reload time of close to 15 seconds. We've got 54 explosive material boxes. Now that's finally a decent number, but unfortunately we've only got just 1 ammunition box. With each shell using 114 ammo, after the first shell is fired, and keeping in mind that each ammunition box only refills from the main supply at 1 ammunition per second, after the first couple shells, we're going to be literally waiting almost 2 minutes for each shell to fire. So after 2 shells, we're really not going to be seeing much at all out of these casemate guns. So the GNS Dreadnought, we've got somewhat questionable firepower, moderate speed and maneuverability, and quite a bit of survivability. So this thing's a tank, even if its firepower is not necessarily the greatest. That's all I've got to say about this ship. Best of luck to the TheShadowKick in the rest of the tournament, and I'll see you next time.